Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today, we'll be taking a deep dive into one of the most influential civilizations in all of human history, the mighty Roman Empire. From a tiny city-state on the Italian peninsula to a colossal empire that stretched across 3 continents, Rome's story is an epic tale of ambition, innovation, and power. So, grab your popcorn, because this is going to be a wild ride through history. Our story begins not with an empire, but with a humble city. Legend says Rome was founded in 753 BC by the twin brothers Romulus and Remus. While the Fantuin story is likely a myth, the reality is that early Rome grew from a small settlement into a powerful republic. This wasn't an empire ruled by one person, but a state governed by elected senators and officials, a revolutionary concept for its time. The famous initials, SPQR, Senatus. Populus Romanus, the Senate. And people of Rome. For nearly 500 years, the Roman Republic expanded its influence, conquering its neighbors through the sheer force of its legendary legions and shrewd political maneuvering. This was the era of giants like Scipio Africanus, who defeated Hannibal, and the Gracchi brothers, who fought for the common people. But the Republic's success planted the seeds of its own downfall. As Rome grew wealthier and more powerful, the gap between the rich elite and the poor masses widened. Political corruption became rampant, and ambitious generals with loyal armies began to challenge the Senate's authority. This turmoil culminated in a series of brutal civil wars, and out of this chaos, one name rose above all others: Gaius Julius Caesar. A brilliant general and a charismatic politician, Caesar conquered Gaul, modern-day France, and amassed incredible fame and fortune. His ambition was limitless. When he famously crossed the Rubicon River with his army, he declared war on the Republic itself, uttering the words, "The die is cast." He won, becoming a dictator for life, but his reign was cut short when he was assassinated by senators who feared his power. Caesar's death didn't save the Republic. It just plunged Rome into another round of civil war. From this bloody conflict, Caesar's adopted son, Octavian, emerged victorious. He was cleverer than his great-uncle. Instead of declaring himself a dictator, he carefully maintained the illusion of the Republic while gathering all the real power for himself. He took the title Augustus, meaning the revered one, and became the very first Roman emperor. This marked the official end of the Roman Republic and the beginning of the Roman Empire in 27 BC. Reign of Augustus ushered in an unprecedented era of peace and prosperity known as the Pax Romana, the Roman peace, which would last for nearly 200 years. Under the Pax Romana, the Roman Empire reached its golden age. It was a time of incredible stability. The vast territories, from Britain in the northwest to Mesopotamia in the east, were connected by an astonishing network of roads. You've heard the saying, all roads lead to Rome, and it was literally true. This infrastructure allowed trade, culture, and ideas to flourish. Roman engineering was simply unparalleled. They built magnificent aqueducts that carried fresh water to cities, massive amphitheaters like the Colosseum for public spectacles, and grand temples and public baths. Roman law created a framework that still influences legal systems around the world today. Latin, the language of the Romans, became the foundation for modern languages like French, Spanish, and Italian. The empire was a melting pot of cultures, all living under the unifying banner of Roman rule. During this period, a series of emperors, known as the 5 Good Emperors, Trajan, Hadrian, Antoninus, Pius, and Marcus Aurelius, governed wisely. The empire reached its greatest territorial extent under Trajan. Hadrian, his successor, focused on consolidating and securing the borders, famously building Hadrian's Wall in northern Britain to keep out the barbarians. But this golden age couldn't last forever. Following the reign of the philosopher emperor Marcus Aurelius, his son Commodus took the throne, and his erratic and brutal rule marked the beginning of the end for the Pax Romana. The 3rd century AD was a period of intense turmoil known as the Crisis of the 3rd century. The empire was rocked by constant civil wars, with dozens of generals declaring themselves emperor often ruling for just a few months before being assassinated. The economy was in shambles due to hyperinflation and constant warfare. At the same time, the empire's borders were under relentless pressure from Germanic tribes in the north and the Sassanid Empire in the east. It seemed as though the mighty Roman Empire was about to shatter into a million pieces. Salvation, or at least a temporary reprieve, came in the form of Emperor Diocletian. He realized the empire had become too vast and complex for one person to govern effectively. So, he made a radical decision. He split the empire in two, an eastern and a western half, and established the Tetrarchy, a system of 4 rulers. This stabilized the empire for a time. Following Diocletian, Emperor Constantine the Great would change the course of history forever. He not only reunited the empire under his sole rule, but also became the first Christian emperor. In 313 AD, he issued the Edict of Milan, which granted religious tolerance throughout the empire, ending the persecution of Christians. He also moved the capital of the empire from Rome to a new city he built in the east, named Constantinople, modern day Istanbul. Constantine's reforms had profound consequences. While the Eastern Roman Empire, with its capital at Constantinople, grew stronger and wealthier, the Western Roman Empire continued to decline. The West was plagued by weak leadership, economic collapse, and continuous waves of invasions from various tribes. The Romans collectively called barbarians the Goths, Vandals, and Huns, among others. The city of Rome itself was sacked multiple times. The traditional date given for the fall of the Western Roman Empire is 476. When the last Western Roman emperor, a young boy ironically named Romulus Augustulus, was deposed by the Germanic chieftain Odoacer. But here's a crucial point. Only the western half fell. The Eastern Roman Empire, which we now call the Byzantine Empire, would survive and thrive for another 1,000 years, preserving Roman law, culture, and knowledge, until Constantinople finally fell to the Ottoman Turks in 1453. The legacy of Rome is all around us. It's in our languages, our legal systems, our architecture, our calendars, and our very ideas of government and citizenship. The story of Rome is a timeless lesson in both the incredible heights a civilization can achieve and the fragility of even the greatest powers. It shows us how innovation, order, and unity can build an empire, and how internal division, corruption, and external pressures can bring it all crashing down. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey through the rise and fall of the Roman Empire. It's an epic story with so much more to explore. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more deep dives into history, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an update. What part of Roman history fascinates you the most? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.